Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's a pleasure to be here again for another episode of our Top Innovator series with the Tech Executive Club. With us today is Harish Apuri, the Vice President of Engineering at Autodesk. Harish, it's great to have you here.
Thanks, Joseph, for having me.
Let's dive right into your leadership experience, because leadership is the topic that brings all of us together here. You've been super accomplished in your career. Clearly, you've achieved a lot through your leadership. What would you say is the secret ingredient? What is it about Harish Apuri's leadership that has made you so successful?
I'm sure you have spoken to a lot of leaders. To me, the first ingredient is, you got to have a great team. Second, how do you take a great team and align with, the technological innovation with aligned with the business results? Until you get that perfect alignment, I don't think, any leader will be successful. So to me, having that laser focus on the business outcomes and how is technology helping those outcomes is the key ingredient for my success.
Tell me more. How do you do that? How do you show that to people? Because a lot of the, especially younger people, they will come with a passion for the technology. How do you bridge it for everyone? How do you get that connection right?
I mean, every requirement you get, every project or initiative you work on, first we need to understand the why that we are doing that. What problem it is solving. Are we solving a customer's pain point? Are we making the customer's experience frictionless? What are we trying to do? So once we understand the why behind what we are doing, that makes people it's easy for people to go back and really solve the problem. And that
Yep.
gives a lot more open-mindedness for people to have real conversations. Then I have seen engineers where first they see a lot of friction. Hey, we should not do this A versus B. But once they understand the pain point, now I see them getting into hurdles and asking more questions. Tell me more about it. I think that's where you see the real difference.
Got it. Okay. Now, connecting business and technology is obviously a key thing, huge thing. Was that clear to you throughout your entire leadership journey, or was there a moment when you had an aha moment and you saw it suddenly? You've been maybe in the past a fan of the technology side, but at some point you realized there needs to be more.
I mean,
How did?
early in my career, I started as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Then you grow up the ranks. I'll be very candid. When I started my career, it's always like, you want to learn more, you want to build the greatest thing, you want to build the thing that is high performing. But as I took on more leadership roles, like into manager, lead, and senior manager and director roles, and when you sat in these meetings, you are always trying to achieve a business outcome. That's where my mind really stuck in. That's where I started learning is having that business outcome. And it takes time for people.
Yeah.
And you got to have the fundamentals before you get to the business thing. So you got to understand your role, like what role you are playing. So once you understand that one, then it becomes, easy to operate.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. But it's not that easy to get to that point, I imagine, right?
I mean, you got to go through a journey. Success
Uh-huh.
never comes easy. If there is a magic bullet that, overnight success will happen, I have not seen that happen. I wish, sometimes I can see.
Yeah, and many are hoping for it, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let's take a look at your journey again, right? So that's been the past journey. And when you look at where you are today in that leadership development, where do you think is something that you haven't fully cracked yet? So where is something where you feel like you have a sense there is something, I should be doing something there, or maybe I should be doing something better there, again, in terms of leadership, and you feel like this is your next step. This is something that you need to develop into.
I mean, as I look back, my different stints at very, great companies I work for, the balance between, the technological innovation and the business outcomes, the balance to get that one. A lot of times, when you sit in these meetings, when you sit in roadmaps and strategic vision, and what do we want to achieve this coming year, and how do we allocate teams, what are the resources, the gravity always goes towards, business outcomes. What I would have preferred is like, how a great engineering leader will also see how technology can really, speed up that innovation. It's not that, you need to shift resources and, put a lot on technological innovation, but you need to, balance that one against the business outcomes and say that how this is helping. An example, one of the engineer came and asked me was, hey, why do we need to work on this page performance? Like the page is slow. Oh, this is not the industry benchmark. It needs to be 2 seconds. But how do we take that and translate into, having faster websites turn into more customers and you can get more conversion? So you need to
Nice.
connect your technology metrics to a business metric. Then it really helps. And also it helps communicate with the business stakeholders, how this is helping. And they also get bought into this strategy. So end of the day, you got to collaborate with your peers to make this all happen. So to me, translating that, technology things into business outcomes and how do you balance the resources and how do you collaborate with the stakeholders in the roadmap planning is key for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I could have done that early in the career, better late than never. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we always wish, right? With hindsight, we would have done it earlier. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
I imagine you had some mentors on your way, people who you looked up to, people um, where you valued their advice. And I'm curious to know what were some pieces of advice where you thought this was really important for me. I'm glad someone told me that. I'm glad someone shared this with me. So not something that you've discovered, but something that was really given to you by one of your mentors.
I mean, I had the privilege of working with some great managers and
Okay.
some outside friends and mentors. One of the advice given was don't try to solve all the problems.
Okay.
So my mindset was, when I'm leading a team and I'm working on like leading, 3 to 5 initiatives, you want to make sure all of them are working, with the right things. But certain times, your focus can only be on things, and you have to let some things go. So that's one of the advices.
Mm.
Pick and choose what is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
What things you need to focus on, then what things you can delegate, but still, hold people accountable. So that's the advice is very, very important is, where you want to personally focus, what is the most important thing where you get it, and what are the things you can delegate. And that's where you are
Yeah.
also building your bench and saying that, hey, here are
Yeah.
the things I want. These are not like, I think people always get confused that, hey, if you're not focusing the leader, that these are not important things. I think, you got to make it very clear to the team members that, hey, here is other things which are also important,
Yeah.
but as a human being, you can only do certain things. And here is the ones where and hold them accountable with the clear metrics. I think that's the one of the good advice I got.
Okay. Okay.
And
I,
the second advice is, from my coach, I got is, very active listening.
mm-hmm.
So the deep listening, like, the why behind the what are they trying to say? Don't try to respond. Show a lot of curiosity, lean into the conversation. So active listening, that is something I'm still learning, and that's what I'm still practicing on active listening.
Very cool. Thank you. I really like this idea that you shared about not being able to solve everything, but focusing instead. Because what is implicit there is, of course, that we have to say no to a lot of things, right?
Yes.
This
Yes.
ability to say no, also not easy, because a lot of people have a great desire to say yes, please others, and so on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, any place you go, you have limited resources,
Right.
and you want to put your resources on the most important
Yep.
things. So saying no is a very, very important skill at a leadership level. just not saying no, but how do you make sure you bring your stakeholders into that collective decision
Hmm.
making, having that radical transparency, and that alignment is very important before saying no.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. If you're summing up your leadership philosophy in some kind of mantra or statement, and it's sort of your philosophy that you share with your team, what would that be?
It's difficult.
I know it's difficult
It's
to
not,
focus it onto one thing, probably, right?
I mean, if you say yes to anything, just make it happen.
I love it. Okay, so keep your word, right? Keep your promises.
Keep your word, keep your
Uh huh.
promises. Don't promise too many things. Like, if you say yes, I'll take care of it, or my teams take care of
I
it,
love it. Yeah,
then keep up your word, because end of the day, results matter. That's what
yeah,
people will remember you.
yeah. And often we don't know what the consequence is of the small broken promises. People remember.
Yes,
Mm,
yes.
very cool. Yeah. Again, when you think of your path, your journey as a leader, and let's extrapolate into the future again. And I'm not asking about companies or positions or so. I'm really asking about your leadership journey. What is the next level for Harish? How would you describe your next level of being a leader?
I mean, personally, you want to grow into
Mm,
the wow. I mean, one day I could try to become like a CTO. That's my vision. But more important for me is, am I making an impact?
okay.
Me,
Okay.
that is very important. It's
Yeah.
not about the size of the team, size of the company. Are you making an impact? Because when you make an impact and achieve an outcome, the satisfaction you get out of it, I don't think anything can buy it. I think that's just not only me. I have observed this with a lot of great engineers who work with me or who worked in my teams.
Yeah.
The pride and the satisfaction they get when you achieve an outcome and making an impact, I think that is immense. That's what I look for anything.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Many young people out there, many people starting a journey and are nowhere near where you are, and they look at you and ask the question, how do I do this? What's some advice you would give people who are in an earlier stage of their journey, who are looking to get to where you are?
I know things have changed. Now this is a new world of, Gen AI. There's a lot of social networking.
Okay.
Uh, Information is freely accessible and it's available at fingertips. My advice to the upcoming talent is don't chase after titles, focus on fundamentals.
Okay.
Because once you know the fundamentals, you can solve many things. I think that because with so many things are so easily handily accessible,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the fundamentals, then you might get your job done today, but tomorrow something happens. If you need trying to debug that information, then if you lack fundamentals, then you don't know how those underpinnings are working.
Yeah.
So to me, having the foundations are like, good programming. And programming is easy nowadays. Chat GPT can give you a lot of stuff, but you
Right.
still need to understand the language.
Yeah.
Is it giving me the right solution? If I need to tweak it, how do I tweak it? Did it give me the best version of the code
Yeah.
I'm looking for? So,
Yeah.
so fundamentals is very, very important.
Interesting. Yeah. So again, foundations, right?
Yes.
Very nice. Harish, there were a lot of good insights in what you shared. I really, really enjoyed it. And something that really stuck with me as we wrap this up is really one, the keeping the promises, which is really the integrity, right? It's also a foundation of how we interact with each other. And here we're back to the foundation of what someone should learn. Harish, really enjoyed the conversation with you. Thank you so much for sharing the insight with us here. To everyone else, join us again for our next Top Innovator series with the Tech Executive Club, or check us out on our website, techexecutiveclub.com. And we'll see you next time. And until then, keep the brain cells active.
Thank you, Joseph, for having me.